Hello, hello. Okay, so been feeling a little called to record this video and didn't know exactly what this video was going to be, but um, I just did something and that what I actually did is not important, but it basically I made a move that I've been avoiding and it's really crazy how much our fear, our anxiety, our stresses, um, but specifically those where we think that we've made a mistake or something we've done isn't perfect, how much will hold that back and how much it will hold us back. And um, I just wanted to share because immediately upon doing this thing, it was like this weight was lifted, and it's something I've been avoiding honestly for quite some time because it was uncomfortable. It was something that really truly allowed me, or not allowed me, but required me to relinquish control, to surrender, to just let go. But I've learned that when you do that, it's always when things happen. And I think so oftentimes you know, we hold on to things that we think, oh, well, it's not good enough. It's not ready. And I will say the thing was, I was trying to send something to someone and I was just like trying to make it perfect. I didn't want them to call me out on any mistakes. I didn't want them to see any mistakes. I didn't want them to question me. And I realized how much I was holding on to that control where I thought, I've done all this surrender, I've let go. Um, but just wow, holy crap. And I might share more, about what this was at a later point, but it's still pretty fresh. So I want to keep the details to myself. But ultimately, what it, just represents is how tightly we fucking clench, we hold on to control, to trying to make ourselves perfect. And yes, in business, yes, in relationships, all over the damn place. But it's like this was just like some little thing, and it was preparing a spreadsheet for something. And the things that I was sharing, it felt very vulnerable to share. And that's why I wanted it to be perfect. But what did I want it to be perfect for, really? It was because I was afraid if it was received and it wasn't perfect or it reflected badly on me or showcased my mistakes. It had nothing to do with anything, but it was about what I was going to feel if it wasn't perfect. And we hold on to this control in our lives in so many different ways because we think that if we just get it right, if we just control it, if we just make sure that it works, that will feel better somehow. Um, but it's not true. It's not true because we hold on to things because we want to feel safe, we want to feel in control, we want to feel, a certain way. But in reality, things move, things shift in this 3D world when we actually do the thing. When we actually take the step and do the thing that feels fucking scary, that feels vulnerable, that feels like we're not perfect, like we might fuck it up or make it up when we take the chance, when we take the risk. And I think that, for me, I used to confuse taking risks with surrender, and those aren't always the same thing. And I think that that's where a lot of people really have started to, sorry, I'm getting emotional here, right? Starting to pull back because it's like, well, if I'm seen a certain way, if I don't have control, like how is that going to reflect back on me? Or how am I going to feel about that? Um, but the thing is you can't control life. You can't control everything. You can't control how it goes. And something need to fall apart. Sometimes you need to just share things that aren't perfect. And I believe that it always opens the pathway, even if what you're faced with isn't the thing that you want. What you're given is always what you need. But because we hold on to so much and trying to control things, we start to then actually lose parts of ourselves. Because for me, it was like I was holding on to this control over this information because I was trying to get it right. I was trying to get it perfect so that then when I delivered it, that's how I would be seen. But the thing is I'm not perfect. I'm fucking human. And if, the receiving party on the other end of this can't see that, can't understand that, that's not on me. But we make it about us. And, we do this in so many aspects of our life, our business, with money. But what if you just knew? What if you just trusted, right? Like, I might make mistakes. It doesn't look as pretty, the numbers and everything that I was putting together to send over as I wanted it to. But it's real. And trying to just continue to perfect it kept me looping in this identity of, fear, of worry, of stress, instead of just saying, you know what, I relinquish control. Like, here it is. Here's what I have. It I did my best, and we'll just see what happens. And if I get pushback on that, if I get a result that I don't want from it, I know it's going to lead me somewhere. And that's always been what happened. And one big example I always think about is moving to the Virgin Islands the first time, second time, I don't know. We did it multiple times. And it didn't go as planned at all, like at all. Um, but do I regret it? I don't, because it's actually the reason that I'm sitting here right now, recording this video. It's the reason that I've made over $1 million in sales in just like 5 years or less, which to some people might not be that much, but to me, that was a huge amount of money. That was a huge accomplishment. But I wouldn't be here had I not taken that risk, even though technically I failed, right? We moved back after a year and a half, the first time again, then we moved back again. Um, and I thought people would judge me for those things, but at some point I just had to relinquish control and say it's going to lead me to where it needs to, and it has. And every single thing I've done in my life, good or bad, when I've allowed it to just happen, when I've just surrendered that control and allowed myself to just be me, to be messy, to be imperfect, that's when things happen. That's when things shift. And that's where ease is born. Because the thing is this thing that I was holding back, I was holding on to control over. It's something like literally that I've been holding on to, well, technically probably for years, but like where I've actually promised this thing for a couple months. And every time I'd get on a call, I'd be like, ooh, it's just not ready yet. I just need to fix this, that, or the other thing. And then on the last call, realize actually, yeah, I'll just send it, because I was trying to make it perfect and make sure I had everything figured out. But I don't know why really. And, like I admitted this, and still it took days after for me to just let go. And we're going to see how that goes. But regardless, I felt this massive wave of relief, but release in my body. Like there was this tightness, like here in my chest, my solar plexus, this like just contraction in my body. And literally, as soon as I hit send, it just went away, just stopped. And I could feel the release in my body, the tension in my gut, like your physical health, your mental wellness, all of it's connected. And I wouldn't say, oh, well, the reason that I'm stressed is because I've been not sending this thing for months, or the reason I'm sick is because I was stressed because I wasn't holding it. You don't always put those things together. But the thing is they're all related. Everything in our life is related 100% all the time. And if you are holding back, if you're holding on to control, if you're holding on to trying to be perfect in any aspect of your life or work, your business, money, and you're not getting the results that you want, I really, truly encourage you to just take a step back and actually fucking reflect. Like, why am I trying to control this? Why am I holding on so tightly? What am I afraid of? What am I really, truly worried about? Because the thing is you're not going to get the results that you want in your life if you continue to do that. And if you do, it's going to be under duress. It's going to be under stress, which will ultimately lead to things that you don't want, which is health problems, relationship problems, money problems. And you just can't. I talk a lot about the new paradigm. new paradigm for success, but it's the new paradigm for fucking life and for our world and where we're going and how things are evolving. And you can no longer pretend. And in 2025, so many people, I think, were shown that. And like the year of the snake and the shedding, like we had to shed our old shit. And we're in the last couple weeks, technically now, of that, of the year of the snake. But that shedding energy is really kind of shifted as we evolve or as we move into this new year, lunar new year, of course, because it is February 2nd here. So yeah, I just wanted to share, again, not giving all of the details, but just the reminder of the awareness, how important the awareness of what is stopping you from getting where you want truly is. And like this is honestly, it's one of my zones of genius, because I can look at what someone's doing, look at what they're wanting, look at where they are, what's happening in their world, and see exactly why they don't have it, and to put them in the direction that they need to be in order to create the results that they want with ease. Not because, again, you can force, you can try to fucking control things, but it doesn't work. So if you're trying to make a spreadsheet perfect, if you're trying to make your messaging perfect, if you're trying to say the perfect thing to get somebody to fall in love with you, or you're trying to filter how you're speaking to your existing, husband, wife, partner, whatever, because you are trying to control how they react, how they feel, doesn't work. It's literally never going to work, plain and simple. So do yourself a favor and take that step back, create that awareness. And the awareness obviously is just step one. It's step one of my process, my methodology that I take myself and my clients through. And it's just so powerful because now once you have the awareness, you can actually then make the shift in the identity, and then you anchor that into your body. And that is what just happened here for me. And that is what creates the lasting impact. That's what creates the outcomes that you want. And then that is how you create what I like to call the ultimate freedom and the long lasting, sustainable success in all areas of with money, life, work, business, relationships, all of it. And if that's something that you're wanting to do in your life, if there's something you're wanting to shift, if you've caught yourself trying to hold on to control so tightly just to make things good, to keep things going, to keep other people fucking happy, this is your invitation. Join me, first of all, inside the Unfiltered Collective, which is my free Telegram community. Would love to have you inside of that. And otherwise, please send me a message and let's have a conversation if you're ready to make those changes. I still right now have a few of my unfiltered activation calls that I'm keeping open for February that I had opened up in January. So you can do one of those, or we can just talk about longer term work together. Because if you're ready, let's just do this shit. Okay, so we'll talk to you soon. And do you like my hat today? It's a little cold, so staying warm. Anywho, we'll talk to you soon. Bye bye.